How's it going on, my Dokkan Ninja Turtles? Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you guys are having a great day today. So we do have two bits of information to go over, and they're going to be pretty important. Now, for our I said this yesterday that I didn't expect them to really do another sort of event, but I guess they listened to the people that were, screaming that they needed harder sort of events and stuff like that have Metal Cooler Army, because Mog and everything. So they listened to that. And with this, you can see Ultimate Red Zone RE Superheroes Edition, an event of the highest difficulty. Challenge the powerful opponents who possess overwhelming power. If this is a cakewalk, then I'm gonna be like, why would you even word it this way? But something tells me that it's not gonna be a cakewalk, and they heard quite a lot. And I'm right. Again, you can tack that on the board of how many times I see Josh is right on stuff when I'm like, hey, when we start getting overpowered bullcrap, usually there's some diabolical stuff that follows. So we'll just have to see when we're gonna get this and how bad this is gonna be. And just keep in mind that when this first comes out, the initial sort of calculations and stuff like that are still sort of set to question marks. So it takes a little time for people to find out how much, like, basically, like, how much calculations they actually do. So damage, defense, HP, all that stuff, like attack wise, how many attacks they're doing, how many super attacks there is, what they're getting buffed from and stuff like that. Like, so it's going to take a little bit of time, and hopefully during the data download, it won't be too long after that we sort of get to see what's happening. Because like I said, I already see the gammas here, and I also see another Cell Max, and you know how they like to pretty much have Cell Max run shit for a good little bit of time in Dokkan when it comes to events wise. Yeah, so I think they heard a lot of people talking about that. And again, like I said, I don't know if this is going to be on the level of Secret Boss Jiren. And at that point in time, Secret Boss Jiren was like, he was up there. He definitely was up there. And again, the community got exposed for not beating him. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. I'm gonna assume this is probably gonna be one of those things where even the Metal Cooler Army might struggle for a bit. The Metal Cooler Armor team might struggle for a bit, and they're like the hottest thing out currently right now, overpowered, all that stuff. They might not be that overpowered after. And again, this is before a meta change, so this is basically the craziest, stupidest, dumbest things you can get probably at the end of this meta, which makes sense. And then they go into the new meta with the 400 million global Dokkan campaign that pretty much just says, hey, remember that you just got a little bit ago and how you were struggling. Now these units are going to bitch that, and that's how the metas necessarily go. And again, Red Ribbon Army Edition, extra stages will be added there, so cool, some good little dragon stones there. And then we have like a new stage as well too, Entrusted Will for Extreme Super Battle Road. These have been getting quite hard as well. And Dokkan Frontier, like, this is not anything to really like scuff about. I've seen quite a bit of posts and stuff like that, and even comments where people were sort of struggling with stages and everything. And seeing as you're allowed to use everything, I wouldn't be surprised if some of those events, some of those nodes are pretty hard themselves in there. Now, the biggest thing that you need to really worry about right now is that you didn't hit the like button currently right now on this video, and I need you to do so. So if you're new, sub up, turn on notifications, because in a little bit we'll be back into a big celebration. And if this hits your algorithm, sub up, turn on notifications, don't miss anything, bro. Be a part of the community. Now let's talk about the Memorial Dragon Stones, and I'm gonna be quite honest here. So with the Memorial Dragon Stones, basically they are for, if you can see, and obviously if you read and everything, for every 50 Dragon Stones that you have used in the I would say the amount of time from the last that they posted beforehand. So you can see down here for the consumption calculation period, so you can see how it was last year, where it basically stopped next month, August the 22nd. So it stopped at that point, or well, started at that point, and then this will stop the 21st. So it's every 21st of August is basically your yearly count of Dragon Stones. And like, again, what that means is in that broad time, if you've used quite a bit of dragon stones, then expect you to get quite a bit of memorial dragon stones. Again, you can see you can also get up to 150 or 200 memorial dragon stones to recruit characters, certain characters to you. Wait a minute, was that more than that beforehand? Why did I feel like it was more than that? I don't know why, but for some reason I feel like it was more than that. And I'm gonna get into this because the banner necessarily, really, if you just want to do a bunch of summons, then go for it. But if you don't, like, it's not really that worrisome, really. Like, I'm gonna be dead ass with you, it's really not. Years ago, when they first started doing it, it was a very good pickup sort of thing. But if you're someone that does skip a lot, then you're probably going to want to use all of the tickets to actually summon on the banner instead of just buying one copy of a unit for 150 or 200. And again, it is what it is. You do what you want to do with your memorial dragon stones or dragon stones wise. So from that period of time, if you have used a lot of dragon stones, then expect a lot. If you have not, then don't expect a lot whatsoever at all. And even from the free-to-play standpoint, where roughly it's about like 100, well, I think like 120 or so dragon stones, memorial dragon stones that people can really get at that point in time, I wouldn't even expect it to be that much for a lot of people. Again, depending on how much you skipped, saved, and stuff like that. Like, you can barely get a lot back. I know a lot of people to get quite a bit back. Mega whales get quite a bit back, and it's just something to sort of reimburse. But if you're a mega whale and you just literally rainbow everything and or just almost rainbow everything, then it's kind of just like, all right, some free happy summons to sort of get me through my summon itch, from waiting from banners and stuff like that from the part 1 and part 2. And remember, I will say this because we are in the era now where they've pretty much like done away with the EX and the part 3 and stuff like that, and we're just part 1 and part 2. So this year, for the global Dokkan campaign, for the 400 million global Dokkan campaign, it will be part 1 and part 2. So there's something I'm going to talk about as well right after this, and that's going to affect it quite a bit, and seen as their panel missions and stuff like that, which, by the way, with that new event, and it's going to be tied with them panel missions. So man, holy crap, I hope it's like just the first stage of clearing and not even on Super 3 or whatever it's going to be, because if it's on like Super 3, you got to clear the last one or something like that to get those like extra tickets. That's going to be some bullshit, and I don't think it's going to be the case. I think it's probably just going to be the first stage, and that's it, because that'll be the easiest stage to do, and then everybody can do that and get the tickets. That's what I'm going to hope for. But yeah, so just talking about this memorial and stuff like that, it's like I said, it's not a huge deal for most people, but for a lot of people that do skip, it's going to be there for you. And I'm going to click up over here. Stop that. I'm going to click up over here so you can see the banner, because this was the banner last year that we had that you can exchange those tickets. So basically, when you get the memorial dragon stones, you can exchange them for a card, or you could just exchange them for the tickets. And that's one of the reasons why I said some people just like to get all the tickets out there and just do summons on the banner. Golden Week is the cutoff. Okay, Golden Week is the cutoff. So you can see the Golden Week units right here, and then you can see this banner right there. Now this banner, for some people, may have a lot of good things currently now seeing and how they perform. You can look at this and go like, okay, that's what that was last year. And again, you got to remember that was last year, so it's going to be updated a little bit more and have some more units on there. So all the units from the beginning of this year and stuff like that should be on there as well. And the cutoff will be with God Goku and Beerus, and I don't have either one of them right now, so I'm probably just gonna do the summons for me. That's me. I'm probably just gonna do the summons on the banners, and that'll be that there. But that will be the cutoff for that, unless, again, this is a 400 million download celebration basically. So depending on what Geppy wants to do, because this will be his second major sort of celebration of him being the new producer of Dokkan Battle, that means a lot. And if you've never been around for a global, well, really a worldwide celebration, a data download celebration, they pretty much tend to go all out on those celebrations, just because it is something that is very marketable in terms of like, hey, investors, look how many downloads we've had. They get a lot back on to Dokkan. They give back a lot on Dokkan, so expect a decent amount of dragon stones and stuff like that. But that's also a thing that I want to say, because even last year we had these banners where we had the 50 global tickets. So remember, we got to get those 50 global tickets, and I think we only got to use them until the part 3. So they made sure that all the banners were out, and then they had the updated missions to get the rest of the tickets. And you can use 50 tickets, or you could just use all the tickets on just banners, whatever, nilly willy, and summon and test your luck. But it was basically use 50 tickets on one of the headline banners, and I think it was like a 30 is either 30 or 40% chance of you getting the unit. And they were like the only featured thing on there. So if you got a featured animation, then you knew like that you got it. So I'm gonna assume that they maybe might do that again, and they might even go to the extreme this year and might even give us 100, just because it is a bigger sort of celebration, and they always tend to go pretty hard for, again, global Dokkan campaigns. In my opinion, I think the global Dokkan campaigns are far more superior to anniversaries, and definitely the Tanabantas or Transcendent Campaign rebrand. They're definitely far more, they carry far more weight because it's in the middle of the year or towards the later of the year, where you're basically getting another meta change that is going to be significant. They're better than the anniversary units. Anniversary units that tend to been sort of lacking. They kind of sort of fell out a lot more. And even now, when you're going back and looking at these, you can see that, again, some of these teams will need to be updated and stuff like that here, or whatever the case is going to be. But regardless, like, they tend to go a little bit better in the actual worldwide celebration of the data download or global Dokkan campaigns. So expect this celebration to be far better than the Transcendent campaign if it was very much lacking for you, like it was for me, and even for the 11th anniversary was lacking. I do not expect this to be lacking, because again, it is attached to the 400 million download celebration, and that is a big deal. And they want more eyes, more markets, more, shareholders looking at this going, oh, this game's still thriving like that. Wow. They definitely want that. So expect units to probably be far superior. Again, it is a meta change anyway, so expect that. And just remember that if they somehow do announce this during it, there will be these banners here as well too, to hopefully, if they replicate this again this year, hopefully they do, because this was a good idea. This was something that, hey, you take the gamble, you're already gambling anyway. You take the gamble even more, have a 30 or 40% chance. It's one of the two. I want to say it might have been 30% or 60. Was it 60%? It wasn't 60%, was it? I don't know why. Was it 60? Oh, there it is. There it is. No. The normal rate was 58, and then it was 40. No, whoa. Yeah, featured was 44%. There we go. I forgot I can always literally just look at this. The featured was 44%. So it was 44, higher than 40% chance of you getting the unit. And that was across all of those banners. So hopefully they do something along the lines of that, because that saved a lot of people. And even for me, I actually got Gogeta on this ticket banner. So, and it was pretty dope. It was live, and we were very excited for that one. And, it's a gamble. So there's people that didn't, there's people that did. But it was quite interesting, to say the least. And like I said, where they pretty much just are giving us our last bit of content for this one. They're already looking forward. They're already about, like, after this bit of content comes out and they wrap it up with the thank you campaign or something like that at the end of it, where they just maybe give us 30 Dragon Stones or something. There's definitely going to be the ramp up for this celebration. They're going to be talking about quite a bit. And even with that little in-between window that we're going to have for whatever banners and stuff like that we get, expect a lot of marketing still for the 400 million download celebration, or global Dokkan campaign, a 400 million global Dokkan campaign. I want to make that stick, because that's what that probably should be. It's an easier title to sort of market than having a big ass mouthful of like 15 words in there. But let me know in the comment section below if you guys are getting a little more excited, what you are thinking about when it comes to the highest difficulty. Ultimate Red Zone RE, highest difficulty. Boy, this is gonna be something. Let me know in the comment section below. Have an awesome day/night. Stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.